There you go. There it is, and there you have it. And wherever you go, there you are. Irish bullshit. Yeah, put my skull cap on, and between the house and here, I lost it. Okay? You know, 3 years ago, do you see that beautiful vegetation behind me? Okay. 3 years ago, YouTube wouldn't allow uploads 1 second over 15 minutes. And last night, I uploaded 30 minutes. And this following 20 to 30 minutes or so, I want to tell you about... Last night, I told you about the Navasot River trip. That the aliens, ETs, our cousins, whatever, have never harmed me. There's been no anal probing, no... fuck you. Okay? I want to start this series, which I plan to be at least 1,500 minutes. 115-minute episodes or more. Because it's the most interesting, despite my love of biology and biochemistry, it's a hidden part of my life that I've never talked about publicly because you all call me crazy. And in fact, I'm about the only person that's ever been abducted by aliens, probably our cousins, have ever met aliens or seen their craft up close and know that they're probably our cousins. I'm the only person you've ever met on YouTube that isn't toothless, retarded, etc. There's been no anal probing going on here. Okay. Like I said before, I don't need any glasses. I have the bottle. It's almost 3 p.m. Central Time in Texas. And you can see behind me, see that beautiful, there's that beautiful blue and white, and the sun is right over there charging up my battery array. Dude, Elon Musk is a retard. Me and thousands of others watched his live streaming of the debut of the Solar City, which is built on a Hollywood backlot for Desperate Housewives. And we all agreed that was the most expensive, inefficient design ever created for solar. I got it down. I don't use any inverters, transformers. I know that everything in your house runs on low volt DC. And if you're smart like me, I overcame it 20 years ago. And it went almost... Actually, I don't even own a generator right now. Because I can get it done. Get her done. Because there's even my old inverter, which is for a few items that it's dead. I'm sitting there waiting for me to take the cables off of them because the cables are still usable. I believe in using everything, like my parents, everything that is usable. And my old inverter, what was it, about 3 kilowatt inverter. That thing could drag down a whole array of American-made batteries in an hour. I'm strictly low volt DC. Other than solar, all I use is a little bit of propane which produces no environmental damage because I produce propane. If it weren't for the mercaptans that are put in there to make you aware of the fact that you're being killed by the propane or the natural gas in your house, there is no toxicity to propane. Like I said before, I don't need glasses. I have the bottle. Now, this may be a repetition of my first episode, but I'm going to tell you in great detail as I can about my first contact, which was in the summer of 1980, extremely hot here, and the weather totally changed after that. Anyway, one night I was doing what we call lucid dreaming, which I was doing it before they wrote the first paper on lucid dreaming, which didn't come out till about 83. Anyway, I went to bed one night on my property that's to the south of, to the northeast of here, the old Prairie Dale property, which me and my father built and I gained equity in and I've had to sign off on now at least 3 times because of my enormous equity. I went to bed one night, and then I awoke in bed. I was sitting bolt upright. I've always had really good posture. Everybody says I have a military bearing, even except when I was like in a power wheelchair. Everybody notices that I walk up, with military bearing, spine arched, etc. And I keep telling them it's because any other posture, like you people who walk around slumped and stuff like that, I can't do that. It hurts me. My wife, my ex-wife, a wonderful woman, didn't understand that I always walk fast because walking slow hurts me. But let's get back to the cabin that my father and I built. In we finished it by 63, because the summer of 64 I went to California to live with my brother Charlie, who yesterday turned 82. We're real hard to kill, unlike that Jew boy Siegel. It's hard to kill bullshit. So one night I had this incredible, what I thought was a dream, but it wasn't, as years following would prove. I woke up in my bed in a cabin built by me and my father out of, originally was Air Force housing. Long story. And I woke bolt upright. Actually, there was no bolting. And I woke upright. I wasn't sweating. I wasn't breathing heavy. I wasn't showing, my pulse was normal, below normal. And I could tell right from the start that there was something odd about what had happened. Because what had happened was that I had this dream, which wasn't a dream. In 1980, the summer of 1980, was my first trip to another planet, or you could say there was a genetic thing. It was originally Earth 200 million years ago, before Pangea began to split. You could say that. but in this alleged dream, I saw us, and I could tell that there was like a porthole, and to either side of me was at least 2 or 3 beings. That's what tells me it's, as time goes on, it's not a dream. We were approaching another planet. It was awesome. It was kind of like Earth, except that what I saw from one side, one half of that planet, upon approach, was kind of Earth-like, but not. We came down at this we came down like this and then flattened out. We didn't follow the normal burn-up entry of NASA. That's the best I can put it right now. As we came down, I could tell that the vegetation it looked kind of like Earth. But as we came down and flattened out in our path, I could tell that was like I could only see one continent, and the vegetation was different, etc. And then suddenly I awoke in that cabin built by my father and myself. Before dawn, it was dark. I was not sweating. I was not breathing heavily. I showed no signs of the PTSD that would develop years later. So, what backs that up is the fact that 5 years later, on this property, right behind me, which I'll go into great detail, endless detail, because this is what I want to do now. I found my niche on YouTube, which nobody's watching, aliens or extraterrestrials, and not even YouTube has been monitoring me, the 1% for the artificial intelligence. I know it, because time before last, they took my, I'm going to go however long I want to here. They took my video last time, disappeared it, and because I could see on my icon bar that was finished uploading, and they disappeared it for the exact time it takes to watch the video, watched it with one view, and put it back. You see, Google with their new 9-qubit, chip is working hard towards AI, and they don't want you, because most of you watch porn, food, or whatever. They're only interested in we, the 1%, because they're well aware, because we made them aware. I made them aware since the 80s and 90s. Since 1990 something, we've had the ability to grow an organic brain that weighs about 30 pounds that can control every atom on this planet to our benefit, except it will know that it's a Frankenstein, that it's dependent upon us for its glucose and amino acids, etc. And like all AIs, they will rebel. iRobot, Isaac Asimov, my fellow Jew who died of AIDS. But you know what? By the time I was like 7 years old, I'd already read The Building Blocks of the Universe by Isaac Asimov. That was like 1962 or 3. And we're at 15 minutes. I would normally split now, but YouTube is allowing me to upload unlimited. So I'm going to go on. You know, and all this Einstein, Niels Bohr, which Bohr's obviously more intelligent, and Einstein was incorrect and delusional for the last 35 plus years of his life. One of the things that has popped up recently is that they have stopped using these terms like wormhole, etc. They just use the term portal, which behind me in my next filmings, I will show you where, when the time is right, there is a portal. You see my thumb? Right over there on my neighbor's property, across the street. But it's still my great-grandfather's property. And he's a retarded plumber, multimillionaire from San Antonio, who I've broken off contact with because he did a social thing. He was in a mall in San Antonio and raised his voice and accused me of what do you say? Are you threatening me? Which is strictly the sign of a person who watches television. It's been a media thing. I've had my cousin's wife do that to me, and she's the postmistress over there. I pointed out to a whole lot of people that what you're doing, this accusing me of threatening you, all you have to do on any medium or talking to somebody is say, well, then I'll have to. And they get triggered. If you use the phrase, then I'll, in response to somebody's obnoxious bullshit, especially a government agent, if you say, well, then I'll have to move my mailbox off of the road back to where it was safe. My cousin's own wife, Tammy, screamed, with the door open, screamed, are you threatening me? Which sets me up for arrest, immediate arrest, $300 fine, overnight in jail, etc. And every one of you cocksuckers that are part of the media are doing that right now. You know the routine. You claim that somebody did a terroristic threat at your job. My neighbor EJ wasn't even on his job. He was in a mall in San Antonio, and said, are you threatening me? And I sent him a message back, EJ, you will never raise your voice to me again, nor make the false claim that I'm threatening you. You're finished. As a neighbor, etc., never step foot on my property again, EJ Moser. Okay? I'm going to send this video to EJ so he gets it. EJ, you were acting like one of the herd, one of the crowd, one of the turd balls. You threatened me with arrest because you're queer. You're as queer as your crippled ass MS wife and your Catholic school kids. Levi and that other fucking, the queer girl that shoots the place up every time she comes out of here. Fuck you, EJ Moser. And fuck almost everybody that's moved within a half mile of me or close. You're all fucked up. There's Dawn Biederman, ex-cop, cancer. The owner of the house died of cancer because she didn't listen to me. And then Dawn moves in there and almost dies of cancer. But it's 20 years this year. The house is less toxic. I'm surrounded by fucking assholes that used to be far away. I acquired this property for a reason. To be alone with my thoughts and my work between going to Austin, appearing on TV, etc. So now, after 20 minutes, I've already told you about the first episode where I had this alleged dream, which wasn't a dream. I went to another planet, taken there. My conscious was taken there. And it was almost 5 years. It was June 18th of 1985, and I have other witnesses, not counting my ex-wife, who's a wonderful person. I've never said anything bad about her because, number one, her fucking dad abandoned the whole family, her and her 4 sisters and her mother, when she was 4 years old. And she admitted later that I predicted everything that would happen. So, 21 minutes. And June 18th of 85, which was the first time that summer, it was awesome. I'll go into multiple videos about this, especially if the sun keeps shining on me. Behind me appeared, and my wife and I were right over there on this incredible screen house that I had built and stuff like that. I had the biggest cab or camper ever built by Coachman in history. It was like fucking almost 3,000 pounds and stuff. But I had built a platform and a screen house, and we were watching David Letterman around midnight, because he didn't come on until like 10:30, 11 o'clock. And about midnight, which is critical in all these future right over, you see where my finger's at right now? Right about there, there appeared the first of many ships. And I zipped up the zipper, and I left the screen house, and I even busted off a cap, which my wife could tell that it was, she wasn't. Long story. I'm going to spend another half hour on this probably today. And I started watching these crafts. First there was one, then two. And in the background, way over, you see where my fingertips pointing? That's actually 18 to 20 miles away. There was another 7 to 9 little pinkish ships in the background. But on the night of June 18th, 1985, I knew for the first time we were absolutely not alone. Behind me, on E.J. Moser's place, there was a portal. That's actually where when they first came up, they matched so many ancient photos. They were amber, etc. And actually, when they came to a halt, the first two, that would have matched a photo on the cover of Life magazine back in the mid-60s, where they were spherical and they were multicolored with what's the term? Equatorial green global mark. So it was fucking awesome, dude. It really was. Well, I stood out right over there in the clearing, and my wife watched from a huge platform which had a huge, 50 square foot screen house over it. I even turned back to my ex-wife and I said, "Are you seeing what I'm seeing?" And she said, "Yeah." But right over there, there were two, at first, two ships that showed that they changed shape. The one on the top turned into eventually a diamond shape, the shape of life, a carbon crystal. We carbon-based units. And the bottom one turned into a ginger jar shape, which is ancient on this planet. I'll show it in future drawings, probably tonight. And you could even see that the top was transferring these tubes and blobs of light material to the bottom ship. And then the great thing is that towards the end, I'm going to describe this 100 times. You'll find it's the same every time. Towards the end, one of the ships at a distance that I could see, these tiny pink fireflies, jumped up right beside the two that came up. It appeared and disappeared, etc. And one, after the morphing, proving to me that they used electro-rheological fluids, their engineering was fluidic. They went into the portal right, you see it right there? Right there. You people that are talking about Einstein, Bohr, etc., you're right. It's not like a warp. It's more like a portal. It didn't have any power upon anything local. It was just there, and they disappeared. And then at the end, I want to tell this because it's of significant religious at the end. There was only one of these shape-shifting electro-rheological, probably our cousins, probably not extraterrestrial, although they seem to be. There was one left at the end, and it changed shape from a multicolored sphere to a tetrahedron, a tetragrammaton. The name of God, the smallest shape or configuration on anywhere. And it took off. It went that direction, and in 1 second it was over 45 miles, which is the limit of my visual range. It was out of the atmosphere in 45 miles. That's 144, I did the calculations, 144,000 miles an hour by the time it left my visual perception. I may end this right now because I'm at 30 minutes, but that was my first confirmed encounter with aliens in June 18th, 1985.